Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas from Tarot Your Way. Today, we're going to read cards on the BAM versus Reckless Ben case going on in Utah. And today, I am going to um center my questions on Joshua Johnson, who is part of this story in the saga. He's part of the uh, owner franchisee who took over the store and the Lego sets, Star Wars sets, and approximately 1,200 minifigs um, debacle that was part of a BAM franchisee owned and then later sold to Joshua and his business partner, Ben Brandon Best. And so I'm going to look into his character, and anybody who has the link, they can come on and join me. So the notification just went out, and I've pre-shuffled the cards, and the first question I want to ask is, um, can you give me any insight into Joshua's character? You all know I have some problems with my hands. I'm going to do a six-card read in a Celtic cross position. So at the center of this, we have the Tower card. So he's a walking wrecking ball. Anything that he says is meant to destroy, and he doesn't care who it destroys, whether it destroys himself or other people. Um, there's always collateral damage when this person seems to be around. The challenge card for Joshua is strength. He he knows strength as brute force and brute force only, and threats and lies and coercion. But he's not really adept at being gentle with his strength. And the strength card is all about being diplomatic and gentle and getting your message across so people can actually listen to it. If you come in like a bull in a china shop, people are less likely to hear you and just see you as a threat. What's at the foundation of Josh's character? We have the reversed empress, and the reversed empress. Um, there just seems to be no um, motherly instinct or guidance to him or on his behalf when he was growing up. Maybe he was a child who um, failed to develop a bond with the mother, or the mother was detached, and um, you know, it, maybe he wasn't breastfed as a child. Maybe uh, his he was a formula baby, and everybody knows that formula comes with extra things that it it may be full of protein to help a baby grow, but it doesn't have the right things to help a baby's brain to develop. So, um, this would go to say that he is maybe even stuck in an infant's mind frame. he never developed the emotional maturity to bond with others, and he just um, he's the cat who hides from everybody. And that seems to be in the legal dealings with setting up all these LLCs and corporations and convoluted schemes. So when somebody goes to sue you, they sue the wrong entity. When you sue a corporation, you have to sue the corporation that's involved, not the corporation who was dissolved to legally protect the finances at the time of the incidences. And BJC, her show has uh, uncovered that the day that the first Ben versus Bam went live, that at 4:49 in the afternoon, corporations were dissolved and created to protect monetary assets. So um, apparently, they had this lawsuit ready. They knew that what they were doing. They did the machinations and gyrations with the court system to get this new legal entity formed uh, prior, or have all the paperwork done prior to the dropping of the video. And as soon as they found out that it was dropped, they went through the legal process and dissolved the old corporation and put in a new corporation. So yes, you really can't. Um, they're going on the assumption that their assets are protected because it wasn't them or the corporation that was acting in the past. Um, it's basically scouring the record. The next card we have is the Five of Wands, and it's skirmishes and battles. And what this says to me is their best possible outcome is to what Josh has already said. We're going to drag it out forever and ever. We're going to bring lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit and bleed you dry. And with the amount of support that the Mansell family and Reckless Ben is getting from the public, um, this is going to be a protracted uh, case. It can go on and on and on because as they drain the legal funds, uh, people are going to get more and more interested and throw money at the defenses for both the Mansell family and uh, Ben and his crew. Um, what's on in the past with Joshua? The Queen of Wands reversed. So he's he's trying to portray that he's soft and nurturing. He wants to take care of everybody, but his actions certainly don't show it. And the being the upside down Queen of Wands, his mo has always been scorched earth policy. You wrong me, you wrong my company. I am going to torch the earth, and nobody will have a harvest because the fields will lay not fallow, but um, scorched and salted, so nothing can grow for years and years and years. We're going to have an eon of time go by before anything productive uh, will grow, will be fertilized on this patch of soil. What's in the near future? The reversed moon card. The moon card is all about lies, deception, and untruths. So, if that's been his past, it's going to come out. But he continues to dig his hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and eventually the courts will find out as to what type of character Joshua is. Remember, this is all allegedly. Um, the outcome is the reverse Three of Cups. So there won't be a celebration for Josh and his corporations, but it seems to be there'll be a celebrations on Ben and his team uh, going forward. So that was the first question. Thank you, cards. If anybody has a question, please do leave it in the comments. I've got the TV on so I can see if anybody comments and follow it there. I'm on StreamYard on the telephone, which gives a very constrained view of what I can do and what I can see at the moment. So we got we got those 6 cards that were on the top, and we're just gonna spread them out. Bury them. Wash the cards. This is how I shuffle, guys. It's not not every tarot reader does it this way. I wish I had the coordination to riffle and waterfall and do all the ASMR card shuffles, but it is what it is, and um, it works for me. So thank you for being patient. And I'm sitting at an odd angle as well, so that doesn't help my case. Like, what we throw over loss of and cell family. There's an info card that needs to come out. Happy families, the Ten of Cups. We have the reverse King of Cups. So unregulated unregulated emotions coming up. So maybe in court appearances, maybe Josh will come unhinged and say that um, against his lawyer's advice, he maybe falls apart on stand if he's ever deposed or on a witness stand in front of a jury, um, and things pressure gets way too much for him. Maybe he lets out one of those fusillades of explicatives that really paint him in a poor, unchristian light. Now, we're not going to Mormon bash or anything because every group of people, whether they be religious or not, you have your good characters and your bad characters, and that's just part of living in society. You Now he's been asked not to be part of things, as in regards of the high council at his stake church. So he was either forced to resign or resigned, because it's putting the church in a bad light. The next question I want to ask uh, is the accusation of threats coming from Joshua and being blamed on Ben? At the center of the reading, we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is the embattled soldier. It's out of a sense of duty, whether he's uh, thinks his duty is to protect the corporation and the money, but he's showing the battle scars. He's being wounded time after time after time in doing this. I don't think he's being physically wounded. He's taking a mental wounding, and every loss he sees as a personal affront. It's never the corporation or on behalf of somebody. It's like you're attacking me, so I'm going to show up and defend myself time after time. The challenge card is the chariot, and sometimes you just don't have control. And the chariot means forward movement through control. Well, if you're blind in what you're seeing and you're lashing out, you're reacting instead of responding. Um, the chariot's going to take you wherever the chariot takes you. You may have wanted to go from point A to point B. You might eventually get there just by dumb luck, but it's unlikely to happen. But he's going to get thrown this way and that way, and he's going to get physically beat up uh, as well as mentally beat up by the erratic movements of his lack of control of situations around him. They're going forward, but without him. What's the foundation? The reverse world. So, he wants to have it all. He wants to be done with it. But the world goes on. It won't abide by anyone's timeline. The world lets you see glimpses of what could have been had you done things the correct way. But no, the world can sometimes slap you down and you got to start the journey all over again because you didn't learn any of the lessons that were along your path. Um, you may have turned a blind eye to things and just have had so much tunnel vision that um, uh, proving the point that I'm right, I'm always right, can be detrimental. You want to prove a point by being uh, acrimonious to other people and to, give the benefit of the doubt, be a little bit charitable, and work through things in a satisfying outcome where there's no winners, there's no losers, but at least um, you know personalities and people aren't littering the ditches with just dead bodies. What's the highest that he can hope to attain? Here we've got the Two of Pentacles, which signals balance. Uh, Instead of balance with money, I'm going to say that this is emotional balance. He does not know how to self-regulate his emotions, and he's either high high or low low, or um, saying "I know" statements. I know that's a false court case. I know that she's not a process server. I know that this has got to be illegal, because the state of Utah says she's got to be over 18. She's got to be the process server. She's got not to be associated party in with anyone in the suit, and she's got to be what was the third point? Not an attorney or an attorney of party. So she was none of those things, but Josh knows that she's at least one of them and can't be a process server. Um, being right all the time is not serving your purpose at all. What's in the recent past for Josh? The reverse hangman. He can't be without any action. He can't take a step back and look at things from a different perspective. He's got the blinders on, he's got tunnel vision, and he sees things the way he sees things. And not even what he sees is going to convince him that he saw it. There is no enlightening this person. They choose to be uh, uneducated and ignorant of the situations. What's coming up in the near future? Well, we all know that the three of swords, heartbreak, heartache, and severance. We've already seen some of the severance. Bam has parted ways, they say, but they haven't parted ways. Brandon and Joshua are still owners of the Eugene, Oregon Bricks and Minifigs store. They just parted ways from the Salem store because that was the store that was in trouble. So it's just mouth lip service. Is that the term? Yeah, lip service from corporate saying that they have parted ways. They have not parted ways. They are still entangled with these um, disingenuous acting people. What is the ultimate outcome? Well, this isn't a surprise. We have steady foundations. Maybe Bam, actually forms an up and up corporation that stands by its franchisees. They want to paint the picture that we're all one big happy family, and the way that the 300-page contract franchise agreement is written, it is not written in anybody's best interest other than Ben Corporate. Um, it we want to paint the picture of happy families and new relationships. There are accusations that they're franchise churning. There are so many people that have paid the franchise fees, um, to start a Bricks and Minifigs, but have not started their physical brick and mortar store. Um, probably because of financial reasons, but um, that is Josh's primary uh, corporate function is to get people to sign these franchise agreements because the more franchise agreements they get sold, they get a lump sum payout of anywhere from 40,000 to 250,000 from what I hear. Um, Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an expert of what's going on, but they do want to paint it as happy families. And should the corporations stay together, I think maybe the salad days will return, but it's a long time in the future. It's not going to be. It's not going to be soon. Um, Anybody thinking of being a Lego reseller? There are other methods, and I would say hire a lawyer and go it alone. Don't the part of the 1% royalties is for marketing and such, and it doesn't seem that BAM corporate has ever spent a dime on marketing for its franchisees. Um, Again, allegedly, uh, and from how it's being painted in the public eye. And um, let's let's ask, how does the public perceive Joshua Jones? And we all know that even before this goes to trial, um, it's being played out in the court of public opinion. Of course, the temporary restraining order is ex parte, so it's one sided, and the investigative report was edited by Reckless Ben, and that can also be considered a one sided uh, view. Um, but Ben has crafted a very good narrative, very entertaining. He understands the ins and outs of uh, YouTube, and what makes a clickable thumbnail, what keeps what's a good hook that keeps people interested and involved. He does the quick and rapid cuts, uh, and uh, strategic, long, awkward silences, to garner response and emotion. And he's definitely a brilliant, brilliant young man. Um, I don't think anybody can disagree with that. His methods, although maybe sketchy, um, here's the plan. When he announces that, you're gonna get entertained, because whatever Rube Goldberg situation he invents, it's it's gonna be 5 or 6 minutes worth of entertainment for you. And whether it has any uh, bearing on the outcome, um, it's what keeps a YouTube audience who has the attention span of an amoeba uh, engaged, and keeps them watching. So the first one was maybe 50 minutes long. Second one was an hour and a half. You are on the edge of your seat, wanting to know what's coming up and next. So the question asked of the card is, does how does this appear to the public? We have the Queen of Wands upright. Now, our Queen of Wands, she's uh, she's emotionally fiery. She's the one who can spew off a bunch of rhetoric and um, poison words. She's not well emotionally regulated, although she suits her counterpart, the King of Wands. Being the lazy king, he employs her to do some of the dirty work with the so-called PR campaign. And whether you want to pose this as a smear campaign, or a poison apple piece, this has all dreams of a fairy tale. All young ladies want to grow up and be first a princess, and then when they mature, a queen. You know, suit, um, and that's the that might be the view of the uh, typical role in of males and females in the LDS church, where the man rules the house, the woman is subservient but backs him 100%. Um, stays stays present in the home and has many babies. The lineage is always preserved through the mother, never through the father. Any any man can impregnate a woman, but it's only the woman who is known uh, in the relationship. Now we have something called DNA that can test maternity, paternity. Maternity is never questioned because there was a witness birth. There wasn't a witness consummation. So unless they're very kinky, and I would say the average LDS person is not in it for a Kardashian video. Then there may have been witnesses, church officials, in the initial time to make sure that the marriage was consummated. Um, that's only hearsay. I don't know what goes on in a Mormon temple or temple wedding. Um, what is the challenge for the public opinion? Again, we have strength. So, are these people strong enough to see it through? Are they going to fight the good fight? Or are they going to take the low road and fight the dirty fight? Ben absolutely tried to get them to deal fairly, and when he found that they were not going to deal fairly, then the shenanigans ensued. Great entertainment for us, bad for the optics, for the court of public opinion. Yeah, even though Ben's got so many people backing him, he tells us right up front, hey, this is shady, this is possibly illegal, but I got to get their attention because they're not, excuse me, because they're not playing ball. They're not playing fairly. They're evading, they're eluding, they're uh, obfuscating um, what's going on here. The foundation of things in the court of public opinion. We have the Knight of Swords reversed. So uh, they're they're just saying that this is a bull in a china shop without thought. There is no. It's all reaction. It's no response. Uh, so it's knee jerk. It's quick. It's immediate, and it's what fuels the fire for ADD addled um, generations that are enthralled with this case. What's the best possible outcome in the public's view? The reverse devil. So they want um, Ben and his cohorts not to be restrained. That speaks to the temporary restraining order, which will be over soon. The 30th, he goes to court for that. The the devil in reverse is the end of manipulation and the appearance of control. Uh, the the devil here really doesn't have control. Um, Adam and Eve here are enchained by their own lack of knowledge that hey, they're loosely bound. They actually can slip the chains off from over their head and be free, walk away from this. But sometimes we stick to patterns that we've had in the past that are not healthy patterns for us to be in, but they are comfortable patterns, in the sense that we know that this is the status quo. Poor reasoning, but lots of people get in that false narrative trap. The What's been in the near past, we have the reversed Ace of Pentacles. So there were broken promises. There's financial loss, especially to the Mansell family, where this all starts and originates. Um, were were the dealings of the Mansell family, or Brian, their agent, totally on the up and up? Well, he may have some emotional regulation problems as well, but he's too close to the situation and gets emotionally involved where he should stay neutral. But they've gaslit him and told him, "Hey, if you want to fight this, we will bleed you dry. We will suck every dollar and every day of your life, and you know, we will not make it worth its while." What's coming up in the court of public opinion? Well, this speaks to the trials. This is the Eight of Pentacles. So they're going to have to work and work and work through the legal system. If anybody doesn't know the legal system, there are so many precedences to study and um, cite as to prior uh, actions, so the court should, rule in this direction. So both sides with the attorneys will get mired down in the legal process, and uh, yeah, this is not going to be a cut and dry case if these cases go to trial. It will be the new Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, uh, and it may drag on for years and years and years. The outcome, the Two of Wands. So uh, in Ben's future, here's the plan, and then he outlines the plan. I think Ben just keeps on being Ben. I think he is emotionally stable. When things go wrong, the biggest reaction you get from him is, "Well, dang." I wish I could be that way. I am not a duck, and water doesn't flow off my back. It flows backward and gets my skin wet, and it just I become reactionary. I don't become responsive. This may give Ben the freedom to do, to maybe to take on his own platform, do his own publicity, have his videos up for public consumption, because he does videos that so often aren't for public consumption. There's allegations of mistreatment and abuse, and that is not kid friendly or advertiser friendly. So maybe Ben um, finds a different platform that is more friendly to his content and allows him to keep it up and to keep him monetized with super chats and uh, things like that. Um, so yeah, this is, I mean, even though the court trials have not been gone on, the court of public opinion has already um, been polarized. Whether you're on BAM and the the, the so-called losers, um, moral losers, unethical losers, or if you're voting for Robin Hood, it's Robin Hood against the sheriff of Nottingham, who's taken advantage of the king's absence to uh, raise taxes and be so oppressive to the citizens uh, of Nottingham. Um, yeah, it's the biblical story would be David and Goliath, um, and there's a lot of slaying of jawbones of asses going around because there is a lot of buffoonery uh, in statements being made, accusations flying, um, true or untrue. It's a shit show, and it's an entertaining shit show for all of us. Now, legal disclaimer: I am not a attorney or a health provider in the sense of mental health. I can't make diagnoses. I can only make observations. Everything I say is my own opinion. Whether I'm right or wrong, it is the lens that I see things in the current way, as assisted by tarot cards. I am a tarot card reader. That's what I do. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a mind reader. I am not a medium. I just read tarot cards in uh, whether it be a conventional way or an unconventional way. Um, it's all about tarot your way. They're your cards. You read them as you want to. Are they subject to personal bias? Of course. We all have personal biases. Um, so if you have a question that you would like me to ask the cards regarding this case, just leave it in the chat right now for me. It's a rainy afternoon. You may hear my doors open. You may hear thunder from time to time. It's gentle rain at the moment. We've had periods of heavy rain this week. Uh, Ron is either at the door or on the dry port patches of the porch, and runs back and forth when the weather gets a bit heavier, and he may get splashed. So I do see some comments where I'm not seeing any comments on the television. I don't want to share them. Oh, there's been comments going on, and I'm not seeing them. I'm just busy blabbing my mouth, and then they time out on my TV screen. Let's see. So, welcome, Angie. Thanks for being here. Fatima, long time no see. Blessings, Fatima. And she's blessing Angie. Fatima is always um, trying to raise the vibration, and we appreciate that from our Canadian neighbor. Um, Fatima, have you heard about this case? It's all about Legos, and a, a business deal gone bad is how it would be framed. Yeah, I've got live chat enabled on the TV. What's going on, Donnie? So the thumbnail for this session of tarot reading is about the Streisand effect. And if you haven't heard about the Streisand effect, um, the state of California wanted to do an impact study of erosion along coastal California. So they took a series of pictures that outlined the entire coastline and what it looked like, at the present time. So, at any interval, they could take more pictures and compare to see what erosion is occurring on the California coastline. Well, in one of those pictures, they got a picture of Barbara Streisand's mansion, overlooking a cliff uh, and the ocean. What I don't know if it's in Pacific Palisades or Malibu or wherever, but um, Barbara Streisand took exception to that. Now, the picture had only been viewed 6 times when she was aware of it, or maybe even just a couple times. Well, she got lawyers involved, and you know, before the case was brought out, there were 6 views, and 2 of them were from Barbara Streisand's legal team. So a total of 6 views, not an invasion of privacy or anything like that. So she wanted to hide the location of her mansion on the coast. And in doing so, and bringing this case against the photographer, um, it brought up a lot of public inquiry. So something that only had 6 views before the case came out raised to like hundreds of thousands of views. And so the Streisand effect is simply saying the more you try to hide something, the more interesting it becomes, and the uh, more people look into it, and the the obscurity is no longer you brought attention to something you wanted to hide. And I think that's exactly what's happened with Joshua Johnson. He wanted to hide something, but um, Ben's outing of the conversations and the police run-ins uh, are making this so interesting, and more people are going to look into this, examine it. Now, the court of public opinion is not always uh, the right and legal way to do things, but optics count. And if any of these cases get before a jury, optics count to jurors. If you're known to make false statements, say that you're ready to shoot somebody when you make your call to the police department, and the police call you on the telephone and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And you know, Mr. Johnson goes on to tell his story, and you can tell that he's emotionally upset. He thinks his family is in danger, but a package of rubber ducks does not mean danger. And but he alludes to that, but there's other substances in there. Is he saying that there's ricin or anthrax, or uh, it's just mind-boggling the way he is painting Ben's practical jokes as threatening, life threatening. So you got a package delivered to your door. It is not life threatening. Again, my opinion only. You are allowed to disagree with me. But if if I were the lawyers, I would want a change of venue for the jurors. You can take the judge elsewhere, but the jury's got to come from a pool that is not so Mormon central. Yeah, absolutely. Tides and weather and uh, although it's a natural process, the land is reshaping itself all the time, with or without the help or hindrance of man. Thank you for your comment, Fatima. Um, so what's the next question I should ask the cards? Oh, no, I was talking about if we want an unsullied jury, that I think there needs to be a change of venue. But not everybody in Salt Lake City are LDS or associated with the Mormon Church, but they definitely have to live within an LDS system, and it's the merchants take care of the other merchants. The banks are um, uh, incorporated in Delaware because there's tax advantages, but doing primary business out of Utah. So you got banks like Zion's, um, which speaks to a Mormon doctrine. And can you get 12 impartial jurors? They they may be, if they're Mormon, can they be impartial, or will they be swayed to Brother Johnson's side of things? Or if they're not a member of the LDS Church, have they been poisoned by their own bad experiences from the the tight knit community, and being shunned as not being included because they're of another faith, or faithless, or apostates, or however the church frames those people. So I would say that there's not really a way to get a fair trial, and one side's going to say, "Are you?" While they're questioning the potential jury pool, are you LDS? Are you LDS? They're they're going to keep those witnesses and exclude witnesses that are not part of the faith. Now, the defense attorneys will say, are you in any way associated with the LDS Church? And they say no, they'll want to keep those jurors in the pool. So you've got the plaintiff's jurors, you've got the defense's jurors, and the Venn diagram, there is no impartiality. There is no circle overlapping um, in the strictest of sense. Are there impartial people out of there? Um, like years ago, I would not um, sit on a trial for a truck driver that it was his third traffic violation. He was going to lose his chauffeur's driver's license. So his ability to work and earn a living would be ceased. And, I said I would not be a fair person because I would side on the side of the truck driver, even though the police may provide evidence of what the three uh, infractions were, and the severity, and why he should lose his livelihood. I said I cannot, you know, I don't fuck with somebody else's money. If it's my money, that's fine, but I'm not fucking with somebody else's ability to make a living and feed their family. Sorry. So I was dismissed on that jury pool. Um, I guess let's ask about the jury. Let's are there impartial juries to be found in Utah? Well, there's the two of ones. We're making plans for an impartial jury. We can plan and plan and plan all we want, but if the people that are on the prospective panel already have uh, prejudices, biases, and experiences, they may not be so impartial. The challenge is nostalgia of the Six of Cups. So they this harkens back to a time where a man's word was a man's word. A handshake deal was a handshake deal, and um, people didn't go back on their word. Unfortunately, this is not the world that we live in. The foundation of things for the jury. Four of Swords. So they're going to have to rest and reflect, and any deliberations are going to be long and drawn out. And uh, if they get this isn't a capital trial, they can't. I don't think they would be sequestered for this. That would just be bonkers because this trial is going to last and last and last, and they got to have strength to go the distance. Are they going to be, uh, you know, um, are they going to perhaps fall asleep in the jury box because of the duration of the trial? What's the best possible outcome? Well, the Ace of Cups. Everybody's emotions um, get stroked. The corporation is left intact. The BAM franchisees dodge a bullet, and the optics uh, don't besmirch them, although they are reporting up to 33% less foot traffic and sales since this came out. The Ace of Cups overflowing, so it is going to be emotional. There's going to be tears shed. Who's the tears going to be? It's going to be on the plaintiff side. They got caught doing something bad. Now they're going to have to pay for it. Are they're crying unfair, unfair? They want to take it as a schoolyard mentality, fight, defense, whatever. Um, and that's just not how it goes. Um, Recent past, the moon reverse, lies, deception, uh, obfuscation, um, conundrums, sleight of hands, misguided perception. We're going to tell you anything but the truth. Um, the truth will set you free, but if in this case, you'll hear very few truths. You'll hear truths about the law, but not how people are legally acting. What's in the near future? We start all over again with the fool. Whether that's BAM franchisees, franchising redraws their franchisee contract, um, or if they're just going to take the money that they have and run and leave these franchisees high and dry. Um, I would say that that would be the coward's way, but that seems to be what BAM corporate is going to do. The fool um, on Ben's side is the brilliant fool. He's acting a fool. He knows he's got shenanigans going on, and the optics look bad. But he knows it's shady. He announces it's shady. He is not. Um, I mean, transparency is there. He is not trying to hide anything, and to the detriment of all his court cases because he overshares. Stop oversharing, as someone I've heard on the internet say. And the outcome card, we have the reverse seven of wands. Nobody comes out on top of the situation. It's going to be struggle after struggle after struggle. Is it going to be friendly? No. This is no friendly king of the hill type situation. Uh, it is going to be a poison pin smear campaign, and Ben is going to be called the Antichrist because he's not a Mormon. And how dare somebody invade the sanctity of our city, our fair city, with, you know, their heathen hands. Uh, and it's just what came to mind. I don't know that, your educated LDS person would even go there because they are charitable people. They are loving and nurturing, and you know you don't grow a religion the way that they are, um, especially overseas. They're growing faster overseas than they are in the United States, by sending out their missionary um, programs. So um, you don't do that without the truly good goodness of people, even though they may be misled or follow a doctrine that not everyone else in the Christian world does. And I've heard that the LDS Church was not ruled one of the 16 legal Christian churches. I don't know. I need to look into that because um, I know that they are considered a cult because they believe in something other than just the Bible. They believe in a book called the Book of Mormon. So, under definitions of United States law, they are an organized cult. They're not an organized religion, but you can claim yourself as a religion and have that tax exempt status. And they've got um, purportedly billions of dollars uh, in the bank, uh, as a religious organization. Now, the Church of Satan is a religious organization that has the same protected tax advantages of, being a non-taxable entity because they are a religion. And Ben is the founder of Scientology Sucks. So that is a bona fide religion, registered in California and Oregon. So, well, it's just another legal way to conduct business. Well, Fatima, the that might be how the U.S. Was framing it for the Book of Mormon, but the LDS Church claims that the Book of Mormon is about um, the peoples of North and South America before and after Jesus passed away. And part of the Book of Mormon is the testimony that Jesus walked the earth in the Americas, and the indigenous people um, um, had their scribes write it, and the on golden tablets, and the golden tablets were allegedly found in 1830s, 1840s in upstate New York by a man named Joseph Smith, and by seer stones and special glasses, he transcribed the words into the Book of Mormon. And so it's witnessed by 12 witnesses. I guess that's the um, standard legal process of maybe churches, testify that what they say, what they saw Joseph Smith do in with these special glasses and seeing stones. Uh, that the words were transcribed correctly. Well, it was in an unknown, purported to be in an unknown language, and the golden tablets were taken up to heaven and no longer available to man after um, Joseph Smith transcribed them. And these witnesses say they witnessed him perform this feat. Um, you know, uh, a person's word is a person's word, and you're only as honest as your character allows you to be. Right. It- I don't even know if it's in the Bible, but I've heard judgment is mine, saith the Lord. Well, um, I would extend that to be uh, judgment is your own, saith the Creator or the creators, because it is in the Bible. Okay, thank you for my churching. My church life ended about 10 or 12 years of age, and I was very surprised at how much stuck with me when I was doing jigsaw puzzles and listening to seminary um, lectures um, with a student that had was taking her psychology courses through a Christian school, and so she had to take um, the the seminary classes as part of the requirements to be a student in that school. So we would have discussions about grace and what grace means, um, you know, judgment, and um, the golden rule. The golden rule has been cannibalized today to whoever has the most gold rules. Think of Elon Musk, who a week ago Friday um, started out as a billionaire and then ended up to being a billionaire 17 more times uh, in the course of a day after his SpaceX or X public launch. There's only so much you can buy. What does $18 billion buy you? Well, it buys you political favors. We've already seen that. Yeah, and whosoever gains so much money that they lose their afterlife, and that was one of the points that Joshua was saying, that I swear to God that I'll give the Lego back to these people. And apparently swearing to God means nothing to him, and he's not thinking about the soul consequence, SOUL consequence, uh, by saying such things. Was that you, Hershey? No, just a notification. Okay. So I want to thank all of you for stopping by and just letting me get my daily dopamine hit from this Bam versus Minifig. Bam, Bricks and Minifigs versus Reckless Ben debacle. It is the trial is in Utah. Utah does allow cameras, and a news organization, Channel 4 ABC in Utah, has filed to cover the case. You know, there are stipulations. They can't show jurors. Um, you know, they can't dox people. They can't, you know, there's many things that they have to do um, to comply with being able to stream from the courtroom. And this is also it's not the same court, it's not the same judge, but the Tyler Robinson case for the murder of Charlie Kirk is going on in Utah, and they are allowing courtroom cameras to be in that case as well. So Utah is not one of those states that outlaws cameras um, outright, but I would say that the plaintiffs are going to try to file a motion to stop any reporting from the courtroom, um, and it won't go very far. So, personal opinion, not anything legal or anything like that. It's just um, I'm just an armchair quarterback or an armchair soccer coach because we're hosting FIFA World Cups now, which means it's impossible to get on a public bus when there is a match about to begin here in Houston. So, again, I want to thank all of you for being here, commenting. Take a moment to hit the little like button. If you're not, I know that the people that watch me are all subscribed, but just check and see that you're still subscribed because I hear that sometimes subscriptions mysteriously go away. Remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and go out and make it a great day.